And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined again with your host, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Marty, Mr. Marshall Hill from the Pints Policy Podcast and hyperClean Car Care Products. I wanted to try a new voice for the intro. Welcome, welcome. So this weekend was Canadian Thanksgiving. It's
What?
yeah, gobble gobble, very much similar to the American version, just with a little more maple syrup and a lot of I'm sorry's. Oh, and a boot that. No, it's pretty
What's
much
the I
similar.
sorry about?
Apparently Canadians say sorry a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a thing, and you know it actually is true. To be honest, like I notice it a lot. Usually when we travel, things like that. But even when we talk to each other, yeah, there's a lot of there's always jokes too. Like someone will go hold the door open for someone, and they're like, "No, after you. No, after you. No, after you. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And it goes back and forth, and then they no one ever ends up going inside. And then eventually some guy walks past. He's like, "What's wrong with you guys?" And he just walks past. And then they're like, "Must be an American, eh?" And it's,
No, it must be a
yeah,
French Canadian, eh?
yeah, absolutely. Oh, they are the worst. Absolutely. Anyway, I mean, half my family's French, but they're special people. Let's just say. But yeah, no, they're not. They got obviously good parts of their culture and stuff. But there's some things. Some of them take it pretty serious. Like they don't even celebrate like our national holidays and stuff. They celebrate other things like Saint Jean Baptiste Day. They'll celebrate that instead of Canada Day, things like that. They take it pretty serious. And if you're singing "O Canada" over there during that time, yeah, it can be bad. Yeah, especially some places like Montreal, it's a little more friendly. Montreal, a little more worldly city, but then other ones is a little worse. But those guys, man, their team, if in hockey, if they lose, they flip police cars, they light shit on fire, they looting, like it's crazy. And so you're like, man, that's nuts. But then you find out they do the same shit if they win. It's just they just go nuts. It just like so it's crazy, man. They're wild, man. Those Quebecers. But I love it. I spent a lot of time over there as well. We have a lot of family there, especially on my wife's side. But yeah, it's an interesting place. It's if
There
you're a
be
fan
those
of one way,
crazy people in West Virginia that burn couches. I'll tell you what, man, those guys are.
it's madness. Shots fired.
Drive Dodge trucks and light couches on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, how about you? You follow sports a lot? Are you a
Dustin, we
sport?
love you. Sports, yeah, yeah, a little. I mean, I just like watch football. Baseball's too slow and boring. I used to
Oh
play.
yeah,
I
can't.
can't watch it. Golf, maybe when
Uh,
I'm older. I don't know, but
do you play
we
golf or no?
watch soccer, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
have to.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm forced into watching mostly electronic soccer though. FIFA 23 or whatever. I don't know. As soon
Oh
as I get
my god.
wants to
Yeah,
come out and play on the big right, like go back to your room. I don't
yeah,
need
yeah,
this.
exactly.
Right, like damn
Yeah,
it.
Jesus. Oh man, that would see. Fortunately, we have a ban on video games in the house, so yeah, my kids don't even have
I
a
can't
system.
do that.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, me, I don't play any video games.
Oh yeah, I'm a gamer.
Yeah, okay. Me,
When I'm old and retired, I think that's really what I'll do.
yeah. You
I
can
mean,
have
you
like a
can't.
YouTube
You have
channel.
to waste your day.
It's that's true. That's
It's the
true. Because
only way you get better at video games. And when I was younger, loved to do it. Right.
yeah,
But as you get older, you just start feeling wrong.
yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I just, like, the last time I
The whole day's gone.
completely, it was New Year's a couple of years ago, the last time my daughters came home. And that New Year's Day, I mean, I think for 12 hours we played Fortnite. Like
Please.
all we
Ooh,
did was play all day long. Like it was,
damn. Yeah, yeah. Just pee breaks. That's it.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
bit of food, right back to it, like
yeah, yeah. It's funny though. I look at some of my neighbors, and I live in we're one of the youngest like couples on the block. Most people here, like the average age is I think 87. So there's a lot of elderly people that live here, and some of them are very active, and you can tell almost like how someone lived their life. Like did they exercise? Did they eat relatively good? Things like that. Some of my neighbors, one guy, I think he's turning 92 this November, something like that. But anyway, super active. He cuts his lawn sometimes. I help him with it here and there, but mostly he does. He's out there. Then we got some other ones. They're similar age, and you can just tell drastically different, you know. And there's this one guy. He's kind of losing it a bit. Sometimes he ends up like on our property, like sitting on our patio and stuff. We
You
have to
told me about that.
walk
Yeah.
him across the street. You know, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But him, he just sits there and stares out his window. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, you know, that's a fun activity. If like we used to live downtown when we did, watching traffic, watching people, it was, you know, you're just watching life happen. It's a pretty interesting thing. But on our street, there's not a lot going on. And so I feel bad for the guy. I'm like, oh man, he just sits there and literally just watches houses. Like there's not too much wildlife going around. There's just not a whole lot of anything. And I'm like, oh man, every day. And I always thought, you know, that guy, he doesn't even own a TV, but that guy needs, imagine though, if he was, you know, playing a video game or something. Who knows? For him, playing golf on a video game, I couldn't do it, you know, but for
What if
him,
you got all day and nothing to do?
yeah, exactly. Then that's something you can do. You
I'm
know?
in.
Exactly. And so, but yeah, I don't know. Different
Yeah,
strokes.
so I get stuck watching a lot of that, but it's all good. It's all good. The fun part, I think, for us this weekend was the fair's in town,
Mm, okay.
and we did not go.
Oh no. Okay. You're past that.
Uh,
The
I
fair.
lucked out. I like the fair ish.
Okay. Depends. The thing I don't like with fairs, because we have them that come here too. We have one called the X. There's no consistency. So like one year it'll be incredible, and then the next 2 years it's either the turnout is weird or they change up. You know, because we have like rides and games and the whole thing, and they'll completely change everything, and it's not as good. You know, but I don't know. So what goes on at your fair though? What the one
A
you
lot of
didn't
the
go?
same
What,
stuff,
same stuff? Okay, yeah,
which is why I kind of was like, I'm okay.
yeah, yeah. It's like kind of the same shit. Yeah, I've seen it, been there, done it. Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. It's nice to try new things, though. You know, and
It
it's
is. So when the girls were young, it was great to go. When my wife moved in, took the stepson last year, it was a lot of fun time, right? In the year, but
nice.
it's like, you know what?
I'm
We're
okay to
good.
skip this year. Yeah,
We're okay.
we're
We
good.
can
Yeah.
make our own hamburger and put it in a Krispy Kreme donuts and do all that fun stuff. So that's what we did. We made a bunch of fun food this weekend. We tried that. Tried
Nice.
just make up. I started making. Do you have an air fryer?
Yeah. Uh,
So
I
I've been
cool.
really trying to figure out new things to do on the air fryer. Did
Ah,
the easy stuff, like cut up some potatoes and put it in. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Was not bad, not bad. Tried a couple different, do some reverse sears. So throw
Oh,
the
okay.
steak in for a little bit, and then throw it out and sear it. That I like that. It gave it a good, nice, even feel to it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think the fun part this weekend was took some of that picanha, put
Mm.
some of it, scrambled up some eggs.
I'm so jealous you just have that on demand. It's
Man, it's
ridiculous.
all nonstop.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on up here in Canada. My God.
Well, no,
Nonstop.
it's really
Nonstop.
it's our butcher. We just happen to have a
Ah,
butcher. So we have a lot of, I think I've told you we have a lot of Hondurans.
okay.
I think they're sending everybody here to Oklahoma, right? I mean, that
Like they
seems
fill
to
the
be a
quota.
thing
They,
over the past centuries,
yeah,
The
yeah.
United States love to send people to Oklahoma. So we just got high populations of really random, and Hondurans are random, but they're the ones that got the butcher to start bringing in the picanha.
Damn.
There's so
Okay.
many of them that they finally did it, and that's why we have it.
So that's what I have to do then. So long term play, I have to bring in the Hondurans,
There you
and then
go.
my butcher will. Got it. No problem.
Yeah.
All right. I have a plan. There we go. You know what? I have a little trick for you too with the air fryer. Some things are really good in it. Other things it's just a mess. It's a wash. But yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. So picanha in the eggs,
Oh yeah.
in in the tortilla,
All
spray
right.
it down with oil, put it into then the air fryer,
Damn.
and does
Okay.
a little bit like a chimichanga. It's not a
That's
full
amazing.
chimichanga, but it's
Yeah.
air fryer breakfast chimichanga was pretty good.
Man. Yeah, yeah. Because that's the thing is that once you do a little bit of prep work, you just pop it in there and then boom, it's just meals ready to go. You know, that's what I like about it. For me, I was always wondering how I could make a steak better in there, and a buddy of mine said put mayonnaise on it. I thought he lost his shit. And so I tried it because I was like, whatever, it's worth a shot. I'm telling you, it was amazing. It was like it just came fresh out the oven. Like, oh man, it. I don't know why. I don't know what it does, but it literally. Try it.
It's got to
Mayonnaise.
be something to do with the oil, right?
It's got to be
Got to
something.
be.
I don't know. It's just magic sauce. I don't know. Now it's just magic sauce. But yeah, so if I want to do something different, because we always try and like my wife, she loves red meat, so we cook a lot of steak, things like that. I'm not so crazy on it. Like I couldn't just have like the exact same thing over and over and over, like steak and mashed potatoes or something like that. I need variety. So like even last night I made this kind of like it's a linguine tetrazzini, but instead of chicken, I put in beef strips, and so I cut up steak. And the only reason I did that was the night before I had made everybody just a standard steak because they were just missing steak. So I said, okay, fine. Then they wanted steak again the next night. And I was like, oh gosh, I can't do it 2 nights in a row. So I was like, let me try something different. So I did these strips, and ooh, man, it was good. But the air fryer, mayo. That's the trick.
So, what's the cooking percentage in your family?
Good question. A lot of people ask us that. And so it's honest to God, 50-50. But
That's what it seemed
it's
like.
it's
We're
not
pretty close
yeah,
there. We're pretty close.
yeah. But the thing is with us, it's not like I cook this night, she cooks the next night. It's almost like we run out of steam, and I'll cook for like, 6 nights in a row. And then she'll start
Oh,
cooking, and then she'll cook for 6 nights in a row. Other times we'll cook one night, one night, one night, one night. It depends. Like I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're foodies. We love food, and we make
like to
meal
cook.
plans. Yeah,
Yeah.
love to cook. Yeah, and we make meal plans though. So we literally follow the meal plan. But depending on, maybe there's a night where it's like, oh shit, I didn't get this at the grocery store or something. Then she'll say, oh well, go to the next night. And the next night, something like, my wife doesn't like cooking seafood, so I cook seafood. She loves to eat it. She doesn't like to cook it, and so I'll go and make that. And we have different strengths too, but my favorite nights are, it's like 50-50, where like I'll cook completely or she'll cook completely. But then every now and again, like every 3-4 days, we cook together. Those nights, those are my favorite, where it's like she's really good at the appetizers and the sides, and I'm really good at getting creative with like the meats that we use and how we use them and stuff. Like especially, she hates cooking octopus, but she likes eating octopus, and so I'll cook the octopus. She doesn't want to deal with it in its raw form, so because I buy the whole octopus, she doesn't want to have to, like clean it, gut it, all everything. So I do that kind of, which that's understandable. Like she's not Pocahontas. You know what I mean? She's not. Yeah. But yeah, so we do kind of a trade off, the two of us. But in your house, it's around the
Yeah,
same.
we're summer. She's probably above, maybe it's probably 60-40, maybe
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes 70-30. I mean, it really just depends on if she's in the mood to cook.
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely, and I got that. And I will say this though, breakfast is 90-10 for us. 90% her, 10% me. Because I don't eat breakfast usually, so I skip it because I'm just not hungry in the morning. I just want to get to work and just do stuff. So I just coffee and I'm good to go. Or I'll have maybe a papaya. That's it. But that's not really like cooking anything. I just prep a papaya, a little bit of lime. But she's big on breakfast. She loves breakfast. But me, I just don't feel the desire ever to cook a bunch of food for everyone, but I'm not eating. You know what I mean? It's just somewhere my head is. So yeah, breakfast for her though, that's definitely 90% of the time. The only reason I'm putting 10% for me is because when I make her breakfast in bed, the rare occasion, that's the 10%. But yeah, I don't know. So what about you? Do you guys do breakfast? Big breakfast people, or?
Yeah, during the week, not so much though. I'll just throw some
Yeah.
eggs on something. I like eggs. I gotta eat. I do just the white eggs. So I get the eggs with the
Okay.
without the yolk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
the egg white.
There's
Yeah.
more. There's so much cholesterol in egg yolks, so
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
better just to do without. And I like the protein. You want the good stuff from the egg
Hmm.
whites. So yeah, I'll make eggs on a regular basis, but we kind of save breakfast cooking for the weekend. We do.
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's a lot for us. It's just a bagel on a toaster or something like that.
True.
But I do like coffee, man. I love to make a really good coffee, like espresso, and then steam the milk, put the creamer in, get some
Nice.
flavoring, like
You go all out.
I do that
Shit.
every morning.
Oh,
Absolutely.
damn.
Every
Wow.
morning we get a really good cup of
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's a good way to
cap.
start the day, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
'Cause I love espresso, but I like a little bit of cream. So I like both sugar, the sweetness, as well as then just like that harsh, which we've talked about. I think we've talked about because somebody
Yeah.
corrected us the cafe boat, whatever the coffee that I like that somebody said that you can find it at Walmart. It's a great coffee. It's a great
Yeah,
coffee. It's
yeah,
real
yeah.
dark.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's funny. I used to, when I was, a student and when I was going to university, not too much money. And so I was like, just buy whatever is the cheapest to everything. Over time, as I've gotten older, I've realized, the amount of food that I do consume, it's really worth it to just spend a couple extra bucks and get something that's really nice. And then you actually enjoy it. And it's something that I think a lot of people miss out on is they'll spend top dollar on their sneakers, but then when it comes to their
Yeah,
coffee,
my
it's like,
dad drank black coffee until he died, like
damn, okay.
nonstop. Loved it, and I'm like,
Wow. Yeah, you're
enjoy
like,
that.
how?
He's like, yeah, you'll end up enjoying like you just
You'll,
get used to it. I'm
you'll
like,
learn to
nah,
love it. Yeah.
no, no. I'm gonna make something I like, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I tried that for a while, and mostly because when we were living abroad, the milk and the cream that they had, there were no natural animals on the island that produced anything, so everything was just imported. Most of like even the milk was like this powdery stuff in a box. Like it was just disgusting. So I drank it more out of my dislike of the milk and cream that was available versus loving the actual coffee in its pure form. It was more just the other stuff. As soon as I got back home, though, oof, man, trust me, I started getting all fancy pants with my coffee too. Because I was like, man, I miss this so much. Like I go a little extra with things. I'll even do stuff like as I'm making my wife breakfast, I'll do the same kind of thing, froth her everything, and I'll put like the little designs in the top. I have these little things I can put on the side of her plate, sprinkle some cinnamon on it, makes a little pattern with a smiley face. Like for me, it's the presentation of things. It's like go that extra 2 minutes, but then I tell you, it really brightens her day. Happy wife, happy life, and all that stuff. So it's yeah,
But it's just cool to create something. Not everybody
yeah,
understands that.
yeah. That's true. That's true. They look at it, oh, just throw it on the plate, whatever. But like me, even our meals, like I make my own purees and stuff, pea purees and everything, put it on the side, and it's just for my family. So what? Like I want to feel like we're at a restaurant. I made something high
You want to
grade.
create it. You
Yeah,
want something for them to
like
enjoy.
being
Yeah.
an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And so it's it's funny for that reason though. My wife never really craves going to restaurants. She's never like, oh babe, we should go here or something. She'd be like, hey, could you cook this tonight? And she'll send me like a meal she saw somewhere, and I'll be like, yeah, no problem. So it's funny. You actually put a little effort in, and you're actually saving thousands of dollars too, and eating better.
And you enjoy it, right? Like that's
Oh,
my problem when I
so
go
much
out.
more.
It's like
Yeah.
you got to go to the place that you know that you're going to get something good because I don't know. It's always tough to go out to eat somewhere. It's like I don't know. I could really cook this myself, right? Like
Exactly, yeah, and most times a lot better too, because
yeah.
most sounds like they're using Chef Mike. The
And I think
microwave.
there's a lot. I think there's a lot of us, business owner type guys, been around a while or just started. If that's probably a crossover characteristic.
Yeah,
If you don't like to cook
I
and you're
would
not
say so.
creative at
Yeah,
cooking, like
yeah.
not
You know what
saying
it
it
is?
disqualifies you, but
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think you're right though. If you think about it, think what's involved in making a meal, right? You've got the prep and planning of just getting the ingredients, getting the right things together, being creative also. So thinking outside the box and all these things. There's a lot of similarities there. Think about building a business. You got to have the right pairings, the right matching. You got to read the customer, like see what kind of stuff they're going to want, what kind of things are going to appeal to them. Yeah, I'd say there's a big overlap. And then even just as an individual, being part of the process and seeing something created from nothing, like the final result, I think that's a big thing. Like whether you're a solopreneur, your final result might be the actual, the ceramic coating that you applied, or maybe you're, full on business owner, entrepreneur, and you're like looking at what your staff are doing and how you cultivated them to make something. So it's, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So,
yeah,
yeah,
a little
I,
preaching, huh?
I feel like we should poll the group, and see how many people enjoy cooking, and then see, the comparison. Those that enjoy cooking, I'll check their stats on OrbisX, and I'm just kidding. But we'll see, who's really shaping up there. That's interesting. I like that overlap.
All
Yeah.
right, so ready to get in some tipping?
Ready to get in some tipping after Well, it is one tip as well. But so I got two tips then. Two, double tip, baby. So so the first tip, there was a member in the group that posted, Miguel Peralta. He posted about how he just won a dispute. His second one he just won with the credit card dispute. So a customer said for whatever reason, didn't make this purchase or wasn't happy or whatever the case is, and he won both of them. And now anyone that's been in business for any, amount of years knows that
You
you
usually don't win.
rarely exactly. Usually customer wins every time.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
so
we even at the car wash we'd have them. We have them on camera.
yeah, you'd be like, he was here. Like he's
Here.
and still they're like, you lost a dispute. And it's like it's one of those things that the minute it happens, you're kind of screwed, unfortunately. But he won the last two cases that he had, and he won them because he documented everything in OrbisX. And because of the way that we do our intake forms and how everything is documented in there, as well as invoice signatures and things like that. So it's one of those things where, you see some guys that are like, oh, I don't need a CRM that's going to cost me $100 a month. I just use this. It's free or something. And it's like, sure, it's free. It's actually costing you money because when you get some disputes, it's a very good chance you're going to end up on the wrong side of that coin. And so it's really nice to see Miguel's been with us for a long time, and it's really nice to see someone that's using the system and using the tools that are there available to him. His membership doesn't go up or down depending on what features he uses, so you might as well use the features that are there. And look at this, he just the last two disputes, and so this one was like $500 or something. The previous one was around the same. So right there, the features that he's already paying for just saved him $1,000 that he was able to keep in his company. So hats off to you, sir. Congratulations on winning those disputes. I wish I had that for my other companies because we often have disputes and we lose them. Even the printing company, we literally ship it to their door. We have pictures of what we printed, what we shipped to them, and we'll lose those disputes. But in this case, yeah, it's because he had the proper documentation. So that's a tip, is that document things you're doing, use the tools in OrbisX, and you'll be able to protect your business from those kind of liabilities. So that's my first tip.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. That's
yeah.
great that you built it in that way to help protect them because yeah, it's never fun. Ever.
No,
Never fun because whether you're the detailer that did the work or you've sold them the product or whatever it is that you've done, you're like, listen,
yeah.
no, this guy's
No,
wrong.
yeah, like it's theft. It's theft. He's stealing from me. And at the other side of it too is it's not just, and I think a lot of consumers that have never run a business don't know this, but it's not like you're just getting your money back. The business owner actually has to pay a fee when a dispute's initiated, and so there's a fee associated with that as well. So it's not like I'm just going back to ground zero. I'm actually going negative.
If you get too many of them, you
They
start
can even cut you off.
You can actually get dumped also.
Yeah, they can be like, no, your business is too risky, and boom,
yeah,
you just can't take online payments anymore. Like it's a problem. So, and that's where winning them helps a lot. So absolutely. So that's my first tip, and then my second tip also has to deal with problems, but a different kind of problems. And in sales, regardless of whatever the industry is, but the number one thing everybody always says, we've all heard it before, is that we sell solutions, and so if you can think of the problem, then you sell the solution, right? And so a lot of people just think that if they make a solution to a problem, that instantly that's going to be now worth money. And what I think a lot of people should take away from what I'm about to say is that you have to understand the second question is not just, okay, what's the problem I'm trying to solve? But the second question is there money in the problem? Because oftentimes people position their marketing around certain problems that they've identified because that's why they're selling that product or that service, instead of taking the time to figure out what problems the customers and the market actually want to pay for. Now, how does this translate into your business? So I'll use our shop, for example. So at our shop, we do both PPF and ceramic coating. So we all know all the benefits because we're in the industry. We know the benefits that we think solve the problem for the customer. But the customer oftentimes has a different mentality around the problem. So we have to actually create the problem for the customer. Your goal in sales should be to create a massive problem for them and then create a massive what it's going to cost you if you don't do this, because now you've created two massive problems. Here's a massive problem for you, and here's what it's going to cost you if you don't do this. And I've got the solution. Once you position those two things, you can sell almost anything. And what we do is we spend some time narrowing down our customer in the beginning to figure out sort of a ballpark budget range of what they're looking to spend, because we have different problems that the market is willing to pay for, we've identified, but they come with different pricing tiers. So we look at certain things about the customer, what kind of shoes they're wearing, what kind of car they're driving, even little mundane things like if we can, and we see them on their phone, try and see if the screen is cracked. If the guy's screen is cracked and he's not even willing to pay for that, we probably won't have much luck trying to sell him PPF for his car. The guy doesn't even care about the thing he's putting up next to his head, so we look at all these different types of things, and it helps us gauge what the market is willing to pay for in terms of problems. And then we can target them that way. And one strategic way we do this is right across the street from us is a rust proofing center. All they do is rust proofing. That's it. Salt's a big problem for us here. We salt our roads heavily. Wintertime comes, obviously, in Canada. So we salt our roads heavily. Rust is a big problem. Not every consumer has thought of rust. And even though rust isn't a service that we offer, we don't want to offer it. It's a very messy job, something we don't want to get into. Profitable for those that want to specialize in it, but there's already a guy right across the street that does it, and we work swap together. So we use the problems that he has to help us sell our PPF and our ceramic coatings. And how do we do that is we start framing in the customer's mind problems that they have that the market's already said they're willing to pay for, to get them thinking about their own vehicle. So what we do usually is we let them know, like, hey, this time of year, for example, we say, winter's coming, we're about to start salting the roads. Have you booked an appointment for rust proofing yet? There's a guy right across the street. We work with them, we recommend them. They do great work, and it's very cheap. Now they start thinking, oh shit, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, I should probably do that. The goal for us at our shop is to get them thinking about protection for their vehicle, so that now they're understanding the market problem. And by us letting them know, like, yeah, a lot of people are booking up with them, you should start booking it now, we've let them know that there's a huge problem that the market is willing to pay for. So it puts them in the frame of mind that they're willing to pay for it as well. And we use that. And then depending on how we've identified the customer might be more of a ceramic coating customer, or they might be more of a PPF customer, or so on and so forth, we can now target them, and we can say, hey, listen, now that you're thinking about protecting the bottom side of your vehicle, it's time to think about the top half. That's where we come in. And so we can do this and that. So now we've entered into a conversation with them where it's no longer a yes or no, should I get PPF done, or yes or no, should I get ceramic coating done? It's a, should I get it done at the same time I do my rust proofing, or should I get it done after? And so now it's like putting a Coke machine next to a Pepsi machine. If you see just a Coke machine, your sales might be, 100 cans a day. If you put a Pepsi machine beside it, studies have shown it's not going to be 50 cans of Pepsi and 50 cans of Coke. It's actually going to be 200 cans. And the reason being is it's no longer a, should I have a Coke today or should I not? Now it's a, should I have a Coke or a Pepsi? And so getting in the psychology of the brain for your customers is really going to help. And you can do that in lots of ways. So if you think about your business and think about things that are nearby, that are complementary services that solve a similar type problem, in this case, protection, maybe it could be tinting that you're trying to sell. So find something that's nearby that gets the customer thinking about, the harmful effects of, UV rays on their kids in the back seat, or maybe about privacy, whatever it is. Find some things that the market's already willing to pay for that are similar, that gets the customer thinking in that same mindset. So anyway, that's how we sell our ceramic coating and PPF like madness during the winter season. And it's by getting the customer in that frame of mind, thinking about the market willing to pay for problems that already exist.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Roundabout way to it works, I'm telling you.
I'm going to double up also today.
All right. Oh shit, Marty coming through with the double tip.
I'm doubling. Inside of the same tip, it's a double tip.
All right.
So we're going with a movie and a song today. Okay. Movie and a song. So first of all, let's start with the movie, because it is something that is very practical for people to understand. As if you will see today, as I put out on the hyperClean store, Instagram and social medias, I showed you a video last week
Yep.
We have really done a lot of work here on building out a bay, right? Building out a place to be able to document, to show, to create content, how-tos, create videos. And that's not easy for anybody that's built out a bay from nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We took a lot of work, not only just the paint, the flooring. Flooring's not even finished. We did a lot of scraping. We've tried to actually do some like leveling and try and remove concrete to help the flow of the water because we don't have a drain, right? It was lighting, and it wasn't just lighting, and it was getting the right lighting because a lot of our lighting,
right angles, right sections. Yep.
Yep. So first we started with just the single. Then it was like, no, we need, because we were seeing like this yellowing color. So then we needed to go through and change out all of our whole entire upper lights where they were on those old ballast systems. So then we had to cut the ballast and rewire things. And right, I mean, you can start to understand how this all, it takes a lot, right? There was this movie that they said, if you build it,
they will come.
And it's true. If you build it, they will come eventually.
Eventually. Yeah.
Just building something doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You're just building something.
Yeah.
And we all take a lot of pride in building out our businesses. We take a lot of pride in building out our mobile detailing vehicles, right? I love the guys that go on and say, hey, show me your setup, right? Like, here's mine. Yeah. And they're so proud of what they built. Love it. Yeah. Absolutely. Right? Like, why we talk about food, right? Like, anytime you create something, it's awesome. True. Even if it looks all, right? Like,
still created
Picasso that created stuff that looked like come on, right? So what if it doesn't look so great as everybody else's? Man, you created it. That's awesome, right? Like, just understand, though, that building something
doesn't necessarily mean that they will come on their own.
I have a problem. I'm running hyperClean. I need to be able to shoot content. The thing that I do not need to do is start taking on another hat of trying to get customers in to this bay. I don't need to be trying to go around, which is what I've done over the past months, just basically, in a sense, walk around and ask people if I can clean their cars, right? Like we call it at bats, right? We're in pregame. We're still practicing. So I've got to practice my cleaning. I got to see the way it looks. We've tested and spent months working on it, right? But I need people, once I'm ready, I need people in my bay. So there was a song. Chick's done pretty well for herself, but back then we weren't really sure. Now she's Sunday Night Football, and golly, she looks like she's still the way she started. Like, there's some people, it's just amazing. It's like, was that the TV or what? Because you look the same age as when you started. I don't know. It's crazy. But she sang a song called Jesus Take the Wheel. And I'm going to say, listen, I get it. And I'm not going to go into the whole that side of it, but I'm going to go into the taking the wheel side of it. And I'm going to say, I get it. A lot of us believe that there's a higher power that would help us through things, but I also know there's plenty of other people that believe similar. And so if he's helping me, it doesn't mean he's going to help them, right? This whole debate, we've seen it in football, where there was a guy that used to kneel and say a prayer, right? Like, it was a big thing for him. And so people asked him, well, what about the other team? Well, he doesn't necessarily pray against other people. He's just, right? So,
praying for himself. Yeah.
Right? So I get it. Like, you can pray for it, and it's all good. I'm not ever trying to say don't do that. Okay. We just got to understand there that he doesn't take the wheel. But there's Shawn, Aaron, and Mark. Now, those guys will take the wheel.
100%.
Right? So what did I immediately do? Shawn, I need help.
Message me right away.
I've got to get people in this bay. I've built it. Now I need help. I need somebody to take the wheel and help me out here. I need to get people in here. And then once I get them in, I need it to operate. I need it to be a business that still continues to talk to its people, because I want those people to come back in. I want it to operate to where I've got flow of customers coming in and out, and we talk to them. I can't have people sign up and then not show up. So I've got to have this, automation that reminds them they have an appointment, and it gives them a follow-up, right? I need all that stuff because I know that I should not be doing it.
Exactly.
I've got so much other stuff I've got to do. So the next phase was Aaron, man, here, take your money, whatever you need. I need it set up. Let Aaron do it. Aaron's incredible at what he does. Let him take the wheel when it comes to setting it all up for you.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely a must.
Time it's going to save you, and
Golly,
the end result.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just let Aaron take the wheel, and then you're going to need Mark, right? Or, somebody to do, you're going to need to go pay Zucks to get some people, or Uncle Google, whoever you want to use. But that's the last phase of taking the wheel, right? Like, what you and Aaron do of setting up the customer maintenance side of it, in a sense, I then need the sales of people going to click buy. I've got to let some other people take the wheel here and let them do it for me, because I've got to do all this other stuff. I'm worried about building, right?
And think of the time to launch that saves you. Like it's one of those things that, because I always saw that too, where it's look at my setup, and people that spent months building out this, mobile unit, or months building out a bay. Like we've now built out 4 bays in total, and each one was like its own entity, its own whole project. It took a life of its own, even though 3 of them were in the same shop. And it's like, Jesus, like I would have thought, okay, we're just doing the one building, we do the whole thing. Nope. The wash bays got to be completely different than the dry bays and things like that. Like everything from the lighting to, how the floors were sloped, everything. And you look at that and it's like, okay, so they spend all these months doing that. But then when it comes time to, I got to set up my OrbisX, for example, it's like, geez, I'd rather just DIY it for the next 12 months. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, like, just spend the time, and your time to launch is going to, either take the time yourself or work with someone like Aaron.
Yeah, no, just have Aaron do it.
And then you're like fuck that, just have it hurt 100%. But that's where the time you're going to save, the results you're going to have. Almost all actually of the people, because some of them I don't hear from often, but all the people that I know that have gone with Aaron, they've recouped their investment literally within the first week or two, and just from automated upsells easily. But and I mean like dollar for dollar, not just in future potential, because once it's set up, it becomes its own ecosystem that just runs itself. And like I know my own staff, for every person that we've hired, it's the automations that we have running in OrbisX that we've set up. It's the equivalent of having 12 people for every single staff member. That's the reality of it. When we look at the financial reports and we say, okay, look at what we've been able to accomplish. Because my guy that answers the phones, for example, Joe, how many people do you think he could talk to in a day? Let's say 50. OrbisX can talk to 5,000 in a day. He'll never be able to keep up. You know what I mean? So these kinds of things, that's where it's one of those, if you build it, they will come. But the build it part isn't just the bay. It's the entire setup, the entire ecosystem. Once that is built, and that's where I think a lot of people get lost in the initial message of, just take the wheel, and if they build it, they will come. It's you're thinking of just the one component though, not the entire. So once you build it out, because your bay is beautiful, absolutely. But you're right. If nothing's done past that point, it's a lemonade stand in the middle of the desert, and so no one's gonna come. So, but once you have that whole ecosystem, we've talked endless times on other podcasts we did together about funnels. That's what you've done, is you've now built the funnel out. People just start funneling in, and then now you've got a smooth system that can run with very little or no involvement from yourself, which is what I think every business owner that's listening to this is ultimately going to want. Absolutely, yeah, myself included. Wow, that was your first double tipper? I don't know. That was I like that too. Movie and a song. Geez, I think that's what I'm gonna do next time. but movie and a song. I like that. Although I know we do have a good episode coming, but I won't give away too much about it. But we've got some good stuff in the works, and I think that one might be a couple episode series like what we did before with the funnels. Yeah. But so new wash bay. So should we post a video or something of it after in case people are curious to check it out?
Yeah, no, I did. I put a hyperclean store. You can go over to social. We put out, so basically what we're doing 2011, maybe even late 10, but probably early 11, 2011. I know a lot of you weren't even born yet. I built my first YouTube channel.
It's crazy to think that. Jesus. Yeah.
But way early than anybody else now that has some type of YouTube, right? Way early. This was 2011. Yeah. Built it. It grew really fast. And then I was selling Carbride. I was a distributor for them, and they bought the site from me.
Wow.
And after that, I just never built another channel.
Okay. Jeez. Yeah. You're like, it worked well the first time, I'm done. That's it.
What was that thing, right? I got a couple, right? You can list out biggest mistakes that you've made in career, right? Like,
yeah. We all have a couple.
That's number 3. That's number
okay.
number
You're
3.
Like, YouTube's a fad.
A lot of us thought back then, right? A lot of us thought. So I said, okay, let me not worry about that. Let me focus on building up face-to-face sales, and that's what I did. Now we're not going to build a YouTube channel the way traditionally people have built one.
Okay.
But we knew that we had to build the bay out. We knew we had to look a certain way. We knew there's things that have to be done to test all those different types of mics, found the right mic we like, right? So all that, but
all those little intricacies, huh? It's amazing.
So much, right? Yeah. And we will do this full on, video, basically with the idea of what we'll use in multiple ways. Nick's going to start coming in and we'll shoot videos together, but then I'll have cars that come in that I just clean, right? And then we just go through the things that I'm doing while I'm cleaning the car. And then we talk and we have a discussion about why we do certain things, what we're seeing, why we're going to use the product here, what we're going to do. And then you can chop it up. That'll be your full, YouTube style video. And then we'll chop it up, right? You see this commonly happen now. So, you chop it up and then you make some reels out of it. And that one of the reels today that I put out comes from that video that I sent you, which is the full YouTube video.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think it's a good way to push things out there because sometimes that little snippet, like first off, the reels are quick, which is good. Catches their attention and like, oh shit, it's like a cliff note, and then they get the full book if they want it, And I think that's important because there's so much. Like I watched that video in its entirety, and I think that I can already see the direction where you guys are going. And the problem is a lot of times when it's a lengthier video, people just tune out too soon. They're like, the staying power isn't there because the interest might not have been developed fully. But when they see the reels, it's like, oh shit. And then it's like, oh, I get that from here. Boom. And then because we live in an age where people are quick to, if it's longer than 15 seconds, sometimes people are like, I'm out of here, unless it's important. And once they see like, oh shit, this kind of information is in there, that's where I got to go for the full.
And we won't use YouTube to get, right? The people that create YouTube channels are to get paid by YouTube. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to get the message out of how to use hyperclean appropriately because we realize we see so many people that detailing is fine, it's great, they use other products fine, but they're not elite. And to really make it in the industry and to make a lot of money and to be successful, you've got to become elite. So a lot of what we do is to help people become elite in their area.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of what we want to do with these videos is show them elite products, elite systems, and show them how the process of cleaning cars on a regular basis, how to use hyperclean. So the fun part for me wasn't just the challenge of building out the bay, but it's also learning the videography because at first we tried to hire. And for people that have heard, over the months on the Pints of Polish podcast, I think I might have even said some stuff here joking about
it. Here too, yeah.
Finding videographers, it's extremely difficult. Like, I understand why people say it's a challenge to find a good detailer because it's just very hard to find a good videographer that would show up on time, would dress appropriately, right? Would submit
Understand
the
the
results when
instructions.
they were supposed to.
Yep.
You know, like it was
Yeah.
very difficult. And so, you know, we finally were like, listen, we think that the editor is going to be more important anyway. So why don't I learn more about videography? Why don't I buy the camera? Why don't I invest? So all the videography work was done by me, which I love, right? I'm like, I'd
Amazing.
love to
Yeah.
be able to create that. And it excites me to come in and try and create it. So not only creating everything in the bay, but then creating each of the
Yeah.
videos. It's a lot of
See,
fun. It's
oh
a lot of
yeah. That's an important part too, is that sometimes going through a process, like if you look at the whole process, creating the bay plus the videos plus the content, like the content has to be, thought about, planned, created, edited, all that stuff. Sometimes you go through a process and you find that I really like that element of it. And that's okay to do that as a business owner, where even though it's not maybe in your primary field or whatever you're charging customers for, it's part of the end result, right? So, for example, if you're a detailer, but maybe you find out like, hey, I actually like filming the videos, but I don't like editing them, or I like creating the videos for my ads, but I don't care about learning how Facebook functions for their ads or YouTube and this and that. So that's okay to outsource part of it and tell the person you hire, listen, I'm going to take care of the creative copy, for example. Like that's okay. If you enjoy that, your passion will shine through probably better than theirs would. I would imagine. I mean, if you've got some skill set and you're willing to learn, of course, but if you're passionate about it, it's going to shine through more, and you'll be able to produce things quickly. So that's where that advantage comes in. But then just keep in mind, you can outsource the other parts of it too. Like maybe you've got to build some landing pages for this, and if you're not jazzed up about it, like I imagine, Marty, you're just going to hire someone for that part, but you're still going to create the videos. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't mean you have to outsource the whole thing. Like, oh well, I guess I got to outsource the videos and the landing pages. You can still do a component of it. That's something important. I think a lot of people don't realize with the take the wheel thing, is that you got to get someone to take the wheel. But if there's a part you enjoy and you're good at, that's okay. That's okay to do that part as well.
Well,
You
that's
know?
you building.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's built, right?
Yes.
It's like building.
Yeah. It's more like if you're building, they will come. That's it. We got a new one now.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say earlier. What I still said built, right? Yeah, if you're building is what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Correct me. Yeah, that's what I meant to say earlier. Yeah.
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 Cool.
You're
Thanks.
building. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. I
Yeah.
got
Same mind.
you. Same mind. Yeah, exactly. Same mind. Same hair. But no, it's just sorry, too soon. Shit.
Too low.
Yeah, too low. Oh, damn. My daughter did say she was gonna shave my head off though, because I had to do her hair last. Deal. You're terrible. Don't do this. I have a barber appointment on Thursday, and so he'll be taking care of my hair, not her. My God, she got mad because I said I was going to shave her head off. So she came to me at like 10 o'clock at night. Can you help me with this? And I was like, what is it? And she had her hair in a ponytail with like a scrunchie type thing, but she had tried to take it out herself, and that scrunchie was like wrapped around it. Oh my God. Took me a good 20-25 minutes to get it out. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, so I like that. If you're building, they will come. And I think yeah, that's a really true form thing. Like how I've built every company. A lot of times I like to learn how to do things myself. It's just in my nature. But I'll outsource something in the beginning and then spend the time learning, because for me it's all about execution. So I want to be able first to market, launch something. So get the business going, hire someone to do it, and then I start to learn a bit about the process and find things that I like doing, and then I inject myself into those components for the business. But I keep outsourcing other things. Even to this day, I outsource things all the time. Absolutely. Like support type questions, basic questions. I outsource that all the time. I do not like, answering live chat and phone calls about like, how much would it cost to get my 4 windows tinted and stuff like that. I don't like doing that. Outsource that. It just makes sense. You got to let some people take the wheel, but that's why you excel. Anyways, awesome tips, double tips. Those 4 tips today. There's just tips all over the place. That's a title of a bad movie. But anyways, Marty, I appreciate you. I'm flying out, and so our next meetup I'll be in a undisclosed location for now. But yeah, once I land, we'll be doing a remote work situation, which I'm excited for. So yeah, man. Well, appreciate you as always. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll touch base soon, and we'll have some more exciting stuff to talk about. Guys, check out Marty's new bay, be sure. And then also, last thing is post in the group as well if you enjoy cooking and what the ratio of cooking is in your household. I'm curious to see. And there might be some prizes. Once again, there's always prizes. I love giving shit away. So, hey, yeah, maybe. No promises. No promises. I'll give something away. For sure. 100% with my bouquet of tips. All right, guys. Appreciate you as always. And Marty, we'll see you next week. Thanks for everything, man. All right, cheers.